We're all looking at the same thing. Thank you for joining us for another perspective from the Sag Nasty If Anybody Asks Me podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment. For more videos, please subscribe to the channel.
I didn't have a circle that I was very that I was tied to.
Okay, what up, what it do? We're on another perspective of Sag Nasty If Anybody Asks Me. We have a very special guest. So far on the podcast, we've had actors, we've had famous athletes, we had entrepreneurs. I don't even know where this person's at in their life, but it didn't actually matter to me because for me, it was just like a really cool person that I feel like the community needs to be reintroduced to, someone that I just am curious about, that I want to know about, that who I want to talk to. So it didn't really matter in that way. So who knows where this conversation will go, but for me, it was necessary, very necessary, and I'm excited that we had this chance. She kind of rejected me the first time, but now here we are, and she's not nervous, which is great. So you just get to see how lovely this person is, and just get to see where she's gone in her journey. And yeah, I'm excited to introduce to you Natasha Holmes. I don't want to say the wrong last name.
You got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So I usually start off the podcast with first meetings. Um, but usually I don't remember how I met people at the beginning. You know, they just kind of, you're kind of moving forward in life, and so, hey, there's someone next to you. And that's kind of how it was with you, is that I know that you moved into my neighborhood down the street. I don't know, maybe about 6 doors, 7, 8 doors down
Yeah.
in middle school. So my guess is that you're not from Saginaw.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay. That's what I thought. So I'm living in the Oak Ridge Forest townhouses, the colorful townhouses. And by this time, I'm not a little boy anymore, but I'm not like a man, obviously. So there's this new family that moves down the street. And I knew her little brother just a little bit because he came outside. But the girl is like, I saw her move in, but I never really saw her again at all. You know, I didn't know where she went. So I actually never really got to know her well, that I can really remember, until high school, which is kind of interesting. We definitely knew each other a little bit in middle school, but I don't even know if I pieced it completely together. Like, oh, that's the same girl that lives down the street from me. So I
Right
didn't
down
see
the
you outside
road.
of that. But I really got to know her well in high school. I'm not sure why. I guess mutual friends or everything like that. But for me, it's just she was always smiling, always in a good mood, always cheery. She didn't have no beef with anyone, and seemed like she just had like a positive energy going forward, even at such a young age. Seemed like she had a little bit of responsibilities. Maybe she had to be mature. Maybe someone at home was asking her to be mature. I'm not sure if she had responsibilities, but for the most part, she was just a lovely person. Just every time I met her, and that's a big reason why I want to know what's behind the curtain a little bit. I want to know where she's from. I want to know how she ended up in Saginaw in the first place. So, what do you remember? We're gonna go back further, but I want to know about that girl, about in high school, about freshman year. What do you remember about that version of Natasha? What do you remember about her?
Man, like I was excited for high school. I was excited for that new chapter. Um, like you said, I never really had beef with anybody, but I didn't really have the okay, it's funny because I'll share with you. I did have a close friend, but I didn't have a circle that I was very that I was tied to. I was cool with everybody, you know. Um and but never had that very tight closeness. Um and it's funny because the one person that I would say, you know, at that time and getting into high school, that was my best friend, Taria.
Okay, yeah, that's my girl, Taria. I thought I remember
Yes.
you guys were friends a little bit growing up. Yeah,
Hmm.
okay. She was from the neighborhood too. People not
Oh
familiar with
yeah.
her. Yeah, uh-huh. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, I mean, that pretty much sums it up. You hit it spot on. I always try to maintain a very positive disposition, because you never know what somebody else is dealing with. And even as children, you know, as early on as elementary school for me, you know, I knew people that had different experiences, and you know, I didn't want to see people sad. I wanted them to know it was okay. I wanted people to
Yeah.
know that things are okay, and it's okay for you to be happy, you know,
Hmm.
even at a young
Hmm.
age.
So I always like to ask, also related to this question, is what do you remember about me at the beginning? Like maybe like your first impressions of me back then. Was it high school for you or is it earlier? Do you even
It was
remember that
middle
I lived on the
school.
street? Yeah, middle school. Yep.
Yeah, I knew.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, I remember you from middle school. I remember you being my neighbor, like you said, just a couple of doors, few doors down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at some point, if you rode the bus, I know we rode the same bus to school
Definitely. Yeah,
sometimes
definitely.
because of where we live. I remember seeing you with your backpack and what I believe might have been your soccer tennis. Do you wear cleats when you play soccer?
Yeah, yeah. Cleats. Yeah, the cleats.
Yeah. So those, or maybe an alternative pair of tennis shoes. I remember,
Probably
I feel like I
basketball
remember seeing
shoes. Yeah, basketball
shoes
shoes
like
maybe.
hanging on
Yeah,
your,
yeah,
like, and I'd be like, why does he have those shoes?
yeah.
Where is he going? And then and then I came to realize that you were an athlete. So
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I always liked Daryl. I was very um excited or happy when we didn't really connect or engage a lot during middle school. And
Right.
like you said, it wasn't until really high school. And I think that might have happened more so because of maybe having similar or same classes,
Mm-hmm.
having some classes together.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were able to interact a little bit more, or had to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
even.
Yeah.
Um, and then from there, passing each other in the caf or in the hallways, you know, we would.
Mm-hmm. Definitely the
Uh,
bus stop. That was a big one for me too, because
mhm.
again, you're always friendly and you're always fun to talk to. We just laughed all the time. We just laughed a
Yes.
lot of the
Yep.
time. Yeah. So tell me about the Moors then. That's your name growing up, last name.
Hmm.
How did you end up in Saginaw?
So I am originally from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. That's where I
Wow.
was born.
Yeah,
Hmm. My brother and I both. So
of course.
my parents were born in the South.
Yeah.
They, as young adults, moved to Michigan, Kalamazoo, Michigan. That's where they
Okay.
met.
Okay.
And and then when they got married, my dad was working for General Motors, and many of our parents,
Yep.
and he
Mhm.
ended up, for whatever reason, he put in a transfer to move to Oklahoma. So right after he and my mom got married, they, as
Yeah.
far as I can remember,
Yeah.
if I'm remembering correctly, they moved to Oklahoma.
Mhm.
They had the big booming plants down there, Oklahoma City, big
Mm.
city. My daddy, both of my parents are from big families, but my dad grew up with 14, wait, there were 15 of them. 16
Wow.
were born.
Mhm.
One of the twin babies passed away at birth. So he grew up with
Mm.
15,
Mm.
14 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
And so pretty much not all of them lived in Kalamazoo. At some point, all of them did live in Kalamazoo, I think, though.
Mhm.
But as if I can remember, I did ask my dad one time, long time ago, you know, what made them move to Oklahoma, and it had something to do with the new plant opportunities down there, but I think it had to do with him wanting to get away and do his own thing without the family.
Yeah, right, right.
I was like, what? And
Yeah.
so and so that's where my brother and I both were born.
Mm-hmm.
and we lived there until I was about 12. So I had
Exactly.
just finished elementary school down there, went to 6th grade, and I
Mm-hmm.
was just starting my junior high year.
Exactly. That's what I
And
thought.
we moved. My dad was like, they made him and my mom talk. They made the decision that it's time to move back closer to family, but Kalamazoo wasn't it because that plant there was going to be closing like in a few years or something. They
Mm-hmm.
were set to shut down. So
Mm-hmm.
Saginaw, he put in for a few different places, and then they were able to tell him his pick where they
Mm-hmm.
were sending him. And Saginaw was in the running because they had a few plants, and it's only 2.5 hours from Kalamazoo, so not
Mm-hmm.
horrible,
Mm-hmm.
and just a fresh new start.
Wow. Okay.